Good morning, everybody. Pardon me, I'm still making some notes, but I wanted to hit the button to ensure that I was on time. So, how's everyone doing this Tuesday, allegedly Tuesday, November the 25th, 2025? Just a couple days away from Turkey Day, as they say. And I hope everyone has got plans for a fantastic Thanksgiving super weekend, because most folks get the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to truly enjoy all the tryptophan tripping you could ever want. I'm looking forward to it, but I'll see you every morning. There are no off days anymore when it comes to having coffee with you. I like having coffee with you. It's fun. So, wow, it's been an interesting morning, I tell you. I don't need these just yet. We're talking. Get out of the way. There we go. So anyway, what an interesting morning. Okay, I just posted about apparently that this Tuesday morning is trying to play like a Monday morning in the stereotypical sense. And what I mean by that is it's so funny. It's like almost like a Murphy's Law thing in progress. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Like, I don't even know if this is working. Let me check. But as I'm checking, it's funny because, again, I am kind of dumbfounded. Oh, no, there I am. But pin that to the top. Anyway, but it's funny. It's like all the critters, they did good this morning. All needy as always. And but they're fed and they're sort of happy. Jack the Wonder Dog's acting a little weird though. He's kind of loafing around a little more than normal. He normally is a little bit more peppy, but I think the Monday thing has kind of got into him too. I guess I may need these more than I thought this morning. Anyway, I had a great night last night. I had the opportunity, Alicia and I, to go out to the Boone County Republican Committee's monthly meeting and get to connect with some old friends, talk about the virtual stump, which I do have a few of those clips coming up on the 2026 virtual stump page here in just a little bit. But I learned something, a very interesting thing last night that I didn't know about a fellow I've come to call a friend, and that would be Brandon Ruley of Storm Track 360. I'm not sure if you're aware, because I was not until last night. Brandon is a ninja. I'm serious, man. This guy is an absolute ninja. He can stalk in the shadows or right there in plain sight, unless he wants to be invisible. And he did that to me last night. It was amazing. We had got there and we were kind of saying hi to everybody and talking and chatting. And anyway, then the meeting started and we sat down. And in sitting down, and I was kind of like fiddling because I was going to do some recording while I was there. And Chris Diffie had started the meeting. It was one of the new guests and such to introduce themselves. And then I heard a voice say, "I'm Brandon Ruley with Storm Track 360," and my head shot up. And he was right across from me at the next table. Not that big a room. Good size room, but not that big a room. And I had been standing right there, and I didn't see. Brandon Ruley of Storm Track 360 is a ninja. Prove me wrong, right? I'll steal that line from Steven Crowder. But yeah, so Brandon Ruley is a ninja, so he does great severe weather coverage and can lurk in the shadows. It's amazing. I was blown away. But it was a great night last night. I got to connect with some folks I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was fun. And Alicia and I, again, we got to have some great conversations with folks. And again, this while it was a political function, I guess, but it was more of a real informative thing, because we have a lot of folks in certain races. Like, we have 5 candidates running for state representative. We have 5 candidates running for county judge, and then a couple races in the Justice of the Peace districts around the county. And it was cool getting to chat with almost everybody. There were a few that weren't there. Godspeed. Hope everything works out well. But I don't know. It was really cool. It was very, very nice. And yeah, it was good. And we talked about fun things. And we learned things. Did you know in Arkansas, because I remember hearing about this like when it was first proposed, but I didn't know much about it. And Brian King, apologies, Brian, I can't remember if you're a senator or a representative, but my apologies there. But Brian is always there, right? So Brian King, and he was sharing more of the info of what's happening with this mega prison that's being built down in Ozark, Arkansas, right? Which, did you know there was an Ozark, Arkansas? I didn't. I forgot all about. I know about Ozark, Missouri, but not Ozark, Arkansas. Anyway, this big giant mega prison that's being built, and it's like, I think, a year into the process, and the most they've done so far is like clear the dirt. And they hired a California company, not cool Arkansas government Not cool. We have a lot of people with a lot of big machines that can do that work. Anyway, so I guess it was a bidding thing, of course. But anyway, it's a ridiculous amount of money that's just went into moving the dirt, especially using an outside firm. Not hating on you, California, but seriously, that type of work as a state project should definitely be sourced in state. Just saying, that just makes sense to me. Anyway, I learned that and more, and it was funny because like my old school reporter's hat came back on, and I wanted to really dive into like because there was a lot of opportunity for questions and everything with the candidates when they were coming up and introducing themselves and such. And again, the old reporter in me really wanted to like go all in. I asked a couple questions, but it's funny. It's not exactly that I have PTSD and doing newsy stuff anymore, but it is a matter of the number one reason that I'm not like going all in on like a full news product again is that at this particular stage of things, I'm not ready to commit to that. And if I don't commit to that, that would be a fool's errand. More frustration, more stress. And what is stress? As we learned from Seth Godin, wanting two things that you can't have at the same time. And that is such a great line. And so I apply that rule a lot to make sure. So anyway, it was a great night. I'm looking forward to chatting with a lot of those folks again. And yeah, it was great. So anyway, get involved in your community, kids, no matter where you are, because it's important. It truly is. And we might talk about that a little bit more here in a few. What time is it? It is 8:00. I tell you, I can't see this morning. It's like, wow, blurry-eyed, everything. That's why coffee, it helps. To drink, not pour in your eyeball. That will not lubricate your lenses. So don't do that. Oh, let's see. What else is going on here? We did all that. Now, okay. So now so full disclosure and everything that happens with our coffee talks in the morning is that I've put together a 3-pillar system for the sanity of my life, both professionally and personally. But primarily, one affects the other, if you really think about it. And it just helps keep you straight. The buzzing you hear is actually my printer. I was printing something. When I got home last night, I had set something up to print, and it just acted wonky. Great machine. I still recommend it to anyone, but the gremlins are here, right? So this morning I woke up to that as an issue. I want to help you with something, okay? And I'm learning this tactic from Scott Adams. It's reframing your brain. If you have not heard of his book, Reframe Your Brain, you should totally look into it because it helps tremendously because perspective is everything, right? Instead of saying that you have to do something or I got to do this, reframe it to I get to. So, okay, I'll do the list for you this morning of things that made me go that this Tuesday is playing like a Monday. Number one, it was, let's see, I started with, okay, all the critters were good, so that was good. The printer had its issue, okay. And then I needed to do some website updates, right? Because the 72601life.com, my system that I put in place there, it's just to have a simple aggregated news headline and weather forecast there for you, right? And it wasn't working. But then also, I was working on a website for Mark Forsey, which is great, from marksdesk.com. I like that. It was very clever on his part there. From marksdesk.com. Anyway, I needed to do a fix on his email submission block, right? And nothing was working. It was giving me an error code that I've never experienced before in the nearly 2 decades now that I've used WordPress. So that was interesting. And that was definitely a thing. And what else? You know what? This is the part of the reframing, because in all of that, I truly and sincerely, I guess, brainwashed myself enough I don't see it really as a frustrating thing anymore. I truly see it as an opportunity to learn how to do something new, because I got to learn how to fix the problem with my printer. And now when I get off the air this morning, I'm going to dive into the fix so I can learn more about a technical issue or an online issue with websites. So it's cool. So And that's really in your reframe, man. It's like, it's like not that you got to, it's that you get to. We woke up. We got an opportunity today to do things that there are other options you don't get to get, or other folks don't get to get. So that's it. I mean, it's like when you run into a problem, look, reframe it, because you've got the opportunity by opening your eyes to do more and to be more, and you can be. And that's awesome. So yeah, reframe your brain into knowing that when something arises that puts a hiccup in your process, that it gives you an opportunity to learn something new. And now if you yourself, you're like, man, I've hit this wall, I cannot figure this thing out. The best thing is we have a thing that is called the internet, and I don't necessarily trust any of the AI platforms to 100% give me an answer, because it's like, again, they're great as a tool, but they're not always accurate. And I've seen that so far, because I was using, because I'm using Grok right now to aggregate the headlines for the 72601life.com website. And as such, I don't know if that was part of the become part of the problem. I don't know. I got to dig it around. But I know, like yesterday, I had to school it on being right with the information, because it didn't do what it was supposed to do. So anyway, and shout out morning to my pal Damian Miller, who was kind enough to read my book. And hey, let's go to pillar number one, my book, because it's the one product that I have to sell. That's the only one I'm offering to the world, and I'm going to tell you about every single day, because I believe in the book. I think it's a good book, and it helped me in my process of getting through a lot of things and also enjoying the stuff that I have again. It's been very freeing. It really has, going through the steps there, and reframing, and also just seeing why I do what I do on a level that you don't topically think about. And there you go. Um, so with that said, good morning, Kyle. Thank you very much for coming in and commenting. It's a thing. So, okay, back to this aspect of it. Okay. In this kind of test period, if you will, I said an 8-day thing. This is day 7. Day 7 of 8. Why did I choose 8? I don't know. I don't know if I was like kind of thinking about the Beatles 8 days a week, because literally it's like whenever you're doing your own promotion on a product, you're literally working 8 days a week. It doesn't stop, 25 hours a day. And again, especially when you're trying new things like I'm working on with this, as far as like getting exposure, because the world of online stuff, social and everything else, it's hard to get eyeballs. It is so very hard to get eyeballs these days that I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a conspiracy, but it is most certainly a system in play that if you look at your Facebook feed, I'd almost bet, unless I'm special, which I don't think I am, or maybe it's just unique to me, that seeing people's updates and getting notifications are thin. Thin. And it's weird. And again, that's not a matter of my ego plugging into, I said something, somebody should be hopping all over this. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's statistically, I'm not going to say impossible, but really implausible when it comes to certain things. But to not see people that I am following and that I am friends with, not seeing their stuff, but seeing a whole lot of other, what the algorithm believes are my interests, which in some ways they are, but to just constantly force feed that in the feed, there's something very terribly wrong in that. Going back to the book promotion side of things with it, it's like, I don't want to be spammy ever. I don't like being spammy. I don't like being spammed too. So I try to be selective when I put things out. I want to be consistent, and I want to hit different places and points, but I don't want to be annoying more than I just naturally am. I don't want to be like super annoying in it. So that's a thought there. And I did the blue verified checkmark thing, right? And wanting to see how well that would help in that. And the answer is not a bit. So I started it for, Facebook offered me to start it out for $1. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll throw $1 at this. But then it's like $14.95 a month. I can assure you, you're not going to see a blue check mark by my name very soon, because I'm not paying for that. That's number one. Paying to be on Facebook is absurd to me. The blue check mark, also absurd, because I can see a lot of these this AI slop accounts on a lot of the platforms getting verified, and they're not real. Okay, or it's just some kind of spammy, trolly trash, and it still gets verified. So if one has to pay for that, I think that is a poor investment that you're not going to get your money back on, because I'm not seeing any benefits whatsoever. But I was thinking about this morning, and this is a little bit of the cynical, paranoid side of me kicking back in, that it's almost like, if you remember back in the day, the early days of PCs, really getting into the homes and everything, and the way McAfee virus protection was built in. And it was like clockwork. As soon as your McAfee trial expired and you didn't renew it, or you didn't up it, or you didn't renew it later, um, things started happening to your machine. You started like getting viruses all the damn time. And if you remember that, and it was like, if you tried to remove McAfee, that's when it really got ugly. And I remember those days. And then if you followed the story of John McAfee, hey, he was pretty ruthless and all of that. So that was a lot by design. So I'm a little cautious. I'm still going to get rid of it. It's not worth paying for. But I'm a little cautious to see what happens. But I know it has not. The blue verified check mark on Facebook has done me absolutely no favors. Now, it doesn't promise you more visibility. What it promises you is that it'll give you a better opportunity to protect your identity, right? And that is just bullshit. Okay, if you're going to be on these platforms, and these people are supposed to be responsible for your message, and that's the encouragement to get you on here creating free content for their cash cow, here's the dealio, cat. Keep the place safe. If I'm going to go to a bar, I expect a bouncer at the door to be the one who has to roll out the drunk, instead of me having to do it my damn self. You know what I'm saying? And can you feel me there? Now, of course, that particular analogy and scenario I just played out for you, well, truthfully, you may not connect with that, because either you're too young, or that culture is so dead you just don't know. But I'm just saying, if I'm walking into a place that needs security, well, the security needs to do the job, not me. That's all I'm saying. Fussy Jim. And that's all part of Pillar One. So another thing about the book promotion as it's been going is, I know for a fact the past 2 days, Sunday, Monday, I done a free Kindle promotion, right? You can just download the book, totally yours, forever, ever, ever, on your digital devices. Okay. And because again, it's about message. I really want the message of the book out. I do want to see 11,000 copies in the hands of 11,000 people. And with the freebies, and also with people purchasing the book, absolutely, I am a capitalist, man. Let's be real here. But I promise you that in the purchase of the book, you will get more than what you paid for it in the value of it. I firmly believe that, or I wouldn't have done it. So anyway, Amazon, because that's the only online platform I'm using, right? I'm publishing through there, so I figure I'll just keep it there. There's a lot of other places I could publish, but I want to keep it simple right now. But I'm not getting updates. I went in to check the reports and everything, and I got nothing. And I know for a fact, direct fact, the organic outreach that I've done, I know people have told me, did it, loved it, it was great. And I know of at least one physical sale. But I'm not getting any of that in my reports. Not a bit. I've been giving it, like, all right, well, maybe a 24-hour update thing. Okay, I'll give them that. No need for that in this world, but 24, nothing. Not a notification. Looking at the reports, there's nothing there. And I'm like, what is this? Because I'm pretty sure that in the past, because I ran into a dry spell, and that's fine. That's the way it goes. But anyway, there was a dry spell, but I remember that it seemed like it was far more frequent whenever I did a push and I saw people doing and interacting. So I found that interesting, and I find it can be very frustrating, because watching some of the Facebook groups that cater to first-time authors and authors in general, and they're getting so frustrated because they're not seeing any results and everything. Some of them, I'll be honest with you, are a little delusional in their expectations. Just because you wrote it doesn't mean anybody's going to read it. Not, and definitely not just out of the blue. Because last check, because I was curious, it's like currently on Amazon, I think it's something like 36 million books available. That's a lot of books, right? And so in that, as far as just the platform itself goes, it's 36 million books. So how do you stand out in that? I don't know. I don't think you can. I think if you I mean, I don't know. I have not tried like any of Amazon's like direct push boost things and their campaigns. I haven't tried that. But I need to see something else first before I could actually, before I would put any money into it. I'm telling you, kids, if you know me, you know I'm cheap, right? But I will put money where I see a return or there's a benefit initially in, right? I'm like, this made me feel like this and I'm happy. It solved this problem. But if I don't see that, I don't do it. So again, in watching the backdoor side of this thing, I'm not getting numbers, and I know better. I know better beyond a doubt because I've talked to people who I know for a fact absolutely downloaded the book for free and one physical copy for sure sold. But I'm not getting those updates in the reports. So that's been interesting. And again, we got one more day of this to really push the book in this. Mainly it was about seeing how the blue check mark on Facebook would affect, if it would help anything as far as exposure, and it has not. So if you're thinking about that, it may be different for you, but for me, I am not impressed. Now, getting back into the evergreen side of things, because again, what's the 3 pillars that I'm working on? I have one product, one service, one project. Okay, and it's a good system. I'll recommend it to you. So with evergreen content that I'm really encouraging you folks who are wanting, if you have a business, a hobby, civic organization, whatever your thing is, and you're wanting to get more connection with people out there, evergreen content is the way to go. Because now if you'll notice and you go back on my page, if you happen to see it, or if you even happen to see this, right, is you're going to see whenever I put things out, like the memes that I put together talking about certain parts of the book and a cool little action figure in there with it, and I put it out there, the stories that I'm telling and the copy that, the copy that I'm writing along with it, I don't mention a sale. Why? Because that would date it. Now I could go back in and change it, but that meme is designed to be evergreen. There's videos that will also roll out tied directly to those that also are timeless in their presentation, so long as the book is available. And I plan on the book being available until now, until the end of time, even after I hit my 11,000. And I'm it's a balance, right? Because I am looking for new people to interact with, because this is a niche book, right? So you think it would benefit everyone. Now I've got it wrapped in the idea of just toys being the totems, the connections into that subconscious world that actually rules the day for you. That's manipulated every single day. Don't kid yourself. But it would be good for anyone. I think anyone who reads the book really gets that. And so anyway, in all of that and creating things to promote the book, I've been very mindful. One, that I wanted it to be an evergreen thing, that either you saw it today or you saw it a year from now or 2 years from now or 10 years from now, it's still relevant, right? It still has some interest, right? So that's one part of what I mean by evergreen. The other thing is in the messaging itself is talking specifically to the people that I'm already connected with. What does that mean for you if you're a business? Whoever is already shopping with you, visiting you, is in your civic organization with you, when you create content for them. Things that you know will benefit them. Why? Because those are the people who love you. Everything boils down solely to word of mouth. No matter which way you distribute it, it's all about word of mouth. For example, say you do a radio commercial and you do a radio campaign. All right, now while it is going out into the ether on the radio waves, the truth of the matter is, when someone hears it, they're either going to hit the button and go to the next station, if they even listen to the radio, or it's such a cool ad or a good offer or something like that, they're going to tell their friends about that ad and what they heard. That's true. So that is where word of mouth will always matter. And you want to talk to the people who already care about you and what you do, because you've done something that made their life better in one way or another. So talk to them specifically. Now, what does that mean for growth? Exactly what I just said. Word of mouth is going to come from people who already believe in you. And that's how you grow. We've now evolved into this like viral culture to where we believe if we put something out, if it doesn't go viral, then it's worthless. Nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. Because I will tell you, I mean, something I put out may reach 1,000 people, right? Of those 1,000, odds are only one's going to really interact and engage with it. Seriously, um, it takes a lot to reach a mass audience, right? So don't kill yourself, your time, or your budget. Work on your expectations. But know that when you talk to your base, they're going to be the ones that are going to help you out because you don't want to be spammy with them. You respect them because they respected you. So respect them back and create things about with what you do that number one, it's invaluable it's valuable to share this information, and those folks are really going to appreciate it, and they're going to tell their friends. And then when people do discover you for the first time, and then they go looking, which we do, then they're going to see all of this great stuff that you have out there for the people who already follow you and shop with you and all those things. And that shows the community that you've built. And it shows the return on all the time that you've invested because you care. You genuinely care. Now, if you don't, rethink your life. Seriously. I'm just telling you point blank. If you don't respect your customer, your audience, your members, your friends, then don't do it. Don't do it. It's terrible. So I'll get off that high horse. On to pillar 3, which is the project. One project in my community project that I have right now is the 2026 virtual stump that you can find. There is a Facebook page that you can find. And again, and then also the website, 72601life.com/virtual stump, or just go 72601life.com and click on the picture for virtual stump. Because what's happening there is I've got all the candidates that are registered in Boone County, right, who are ready for office, lined out. I've been filling in the holes for everyone who's participated so far. I'm going to get you all because you're crazy if you don't do it, because number one, it's totally free for every single candidate. It's totally free for anyone who uses the internet to go look at it, to inform and connect the community. That's its mission, because I truly believe an informed community is a connected community. And if you are going to be one of the people who want to serve the public in that type of role, do your part in connecting. It's more than campaigning. It is absolutely the easiest way I can think of, or I could think of, and I've been doing it for like 15 years now, to get the candidate and the constituent connected. Because it needs to happen. If we are in a representative government body, which we are, we need to know who those people are. And that's hard to do. So I wanted to once again create a centralized hub for people to go to. Right? And so last night gave me an opportunity to talk to a whole lot of people on that list. Where's that list? It's in the car still. By a whole lot of people. And it was awesome because, again, there's still power and scale. And so to have everybody in one place and give me the opportunity to talk to everyone, and Alicia to talk to everybody, which is great, because with her as my absolute side-by-side right hand, boy, golly, we have a good time with that, because we genuinely love doing these things together. And that's another fun part about the way I'm building out these pillars. So I get to enjoy the professional stuff, the business side of things, but then I also get to do it with the people I want to do it with. And that most certainly starts at home, because whatever you're doing, whatever your job is, it's like, if you have a supportive home life of that, it can make what looks like the worst day okay. Reframe that one. 8/28, November the 25th, a Tuesday morning. It's pretending to be a Monday morning, but it's not. You want to see what I printed? Because I wanted to check it. Hold on. Hold that thought. Look at my background. Okay, that worked out really well, as a matter of fact. Okay, cool. So now if you don't do the 3D printing stuff, which you should, every home needs one. Just like you have a microwave, you should totally have a 3D printer, because it's only going to get better and evolve more in its useful and practicalness. Now, what I just printed right now has, at this point, no practical use for me at all, other than I was just working out some kinks on the machine, right? And I just needed to run something. I wanted it to be short. I was hoping it would be done before I started the show this morning, but it wasn't. Anyway, so what I printed there, see that? They're like little smart on Bamboo Labs to come up with stuff that promotes the product. Good call, Bamboo Labs. Anyway, but things like they easily come off the print plate, which again, I could go all in on this, but I don't want to. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you real quick. It's like I mentioned it, so it's like show and tell, Jim. Don't just talk about it, show me. And just easily, for the most part, pops off. Ta-da. So anyway, these little tokens that I printed just to test the machine and see what was going on with the issues I was having, it's working out great. Bamboo Lab, they got their Black Friday sale going on. This is not a sponsored pitch. I'm just telling you, it's a great machine, and they got a really good price on their latest model, the P2S. I think I said that wrong or typed that wrong in a post. Anyway, it is what it is. But these are great. It does great multicolor. I'm blown away with all the advancements in 3D home 3D printing technology. The industrial stuff is mind blowing. I mean, just wow. But it's good to know, and it'd be great for your kids and your grandkids to learn about this technology because it's not going anywhere, and it will continue to. I'm waiting for the day, and we're kind of on the cusp of certain advancements in it. But like if you watch Star Trek and they have like the replicator to where like Captain Picard would walk up and say, "I will a cup of Earl Grey," and boom, next thing you know, the empty spot has a cup and tea inside of said cup, just materialize. Seems crazy until you get into 3D printing. They haven't got there yet. But honestly, thinking about it, it would be a slow process right now, but you could totally do that. You could totally have it print a cup and merge two technologies, a dispenser. So you got a 3D printer and a dispenser, put the two together, and it would totally be able to like make you a cup and then make the tea. But it would totally be impractical right now. It really would. That process would be nuts. But very interesting nonetheless. Just saying. But I don't know. I found that interesting. I just wanted to share since I was just so curious to see because I've had three things in a process get funky again because this Tuesday's tried to act like a Monday and I wouldn't let it. What else is going on here? Okay, so we kind of talked about all that. So the virtual stump is going to see some updates as soon as I figure out what is going on with the website. But again, it's weird. It's a process error I've never seen before. Which, okay, time for the tinfoil, kids. Things are broken on the internet. That's just a fact. You're going to have a hard time convincing me differently. Now, in your space where you use things, you may be like everything's just nice and smooth. Great. I am very, very happy for you. But in mine, I'm starting to see a couple hiccups. And it's okay. Here's an interesting one. If you'll notice, there are times like say whenever the big headline nationally wants to change, and they're building people up or getting ready to build people up to another fever pitch emotional outburst of some sort, that you'll start seeing that your updates are getting older. Like if you're watching YouTube, right? You'll start saying, excuse me, instead of recommending new things that are there, they start recommending things from a day ago, a month ago, months ago, and even years ago. And it's an interesting thing to watch because, again, I hear someone at my door. I wonder who's at my door. Probably Simon the cat because Simon, he's funny like that. So anyway, what else is here? Oh no, that's Jack the Wonder Dog. He's ready to do something. So I'm gonna take him out here in a minute. Anywho, what are you doing? Talk to me about things. I want to hear about it. We're going to work on more interactivity because, again, this is about having coffee in the morning. Initially, because I need to get back into a habit of doing things. And that's good. But what was it going to be? News? Talk about the headlines? Maybe a little if it's interesting enough. Because you're going to hear it the rest of the day anyway, so why the hell would I want to just regurgitate that? But I just realized that, again, in this big old crazy world that we live, there's a lot of loneliness out there for all of us, even myself included. There's a loneliness. So to sit up and get up And at 8 o'clock every morning, have a cup of coffee and just kind of chat about things. And I'm open to other discussion. This ain't all about me, man. No, I'm talking about me till you start talking. So good morning to my pal Deborah Jones. How are you, buddy? And again, just kind of paying attention, trying to keep up with comments. Brandon actually sent me a plug-in to like plug into the OBS system that can make things better, but I haven't done that yet. Sorry, but I will. And time as we go. I got a big day today. I got a production day, um, which is truly awesome because I'm gonna get out my necessary tool to make sure everything gets whacked a lot so it works properly, and have some fun because it's what I like. Having fun, productive fun, good fun. That is good for good people, even bad people. Okay, now we've like crossed the 834 mark. And it's warm in the house. Alicia, man, my God, Alicia, it's 80 degrees in here. Shouldn't have thermostat set on that, but the house is pretty insulated. So in my office here, it is 80 degrees. Good God. You fellas know. And that's another thing. It's been interesting because I've watched that I have more of a male audience than a female audience these days. Um, Statistically, you know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of interesting to see that because I like hanging with the boys. But ladies, you're more than welcome at all times. And I'm cool with that. So anyway, what we're going to talk about. All right, so we talked about all the things that I normally talk about here as far as I just kind of updating you on stuff that I hope you can learn some lessons from in my experiences and experimentations. And if you have any other questions, if you ever thought about writing a book, which you should totally do it. Everybody should write a book. It's not about gaining worldwide fame and millions of sales. That expectation is a mistake. The main thing is in sharing knowledge in a tangible form. Because again, the digital stuff is great. I like it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the ease of streaming. But they break. Books, they don't really break. I did have one that got where the binding was screwed up and so the pages fell out. But on the whole, it's really good. But you have something physical. And physical is going to always be important no matter what they tell you. The whole line of "you will own nothing and be happy" is nonsense. We're not wired that way. Not Gen X and back. I mean, we were never wired to agree to "you will own nothing and be happy." That's called rent and debt. So no, I don't believe that. But anyway, I'm not going to go on that particular rant this morning because, again, it's Thanksgiving week. We've got that coming up. Then, of course, Black Friday, which this year, if I can encourage everyone, be mindful of the fact that most of the Black Friday deals you see in retailers around the country, the larger ones, they roll in stuff that they never carry the rest of the year. It's normally the most low rent knockoff stuff that they can sell and still make a hell of a profit on to entice you to come in to hopefully buy the other stuff that's not so low rent. But that's how they sucker you. And then you'll wind up, you say you get a giant TV, which who even needs one anymore? I mean, they're like everywhere. But say you got a giant TV offer for $50. It's like, wow. Cost of that TV was probably $2, man. And it'll probably last you not long. But it could last a long time. I don't know. Could be a great deal. Sometimes that does happen, but I don't trust it. And it's also building off of a fear and instilling more fear of missing out, fear of this is the best use of my money because I can stretch the dollar further. And they play on that, and I loathe it. Loathe it. And once I became aware of that years ago, I'm like, no, man, I ain't playing that game, sucker. Again, remember I said I was cheap, and I am. So I just want people to be mindful of that. And also take the time, like this week, since everybody starts all this stuff early, shop around beforehand. I'm going to make somebody mad with this, but that's okay. But I'm not of the mind anymore to really get on a bandwagon when it comes to the whole shop local thing. I do believe you should support the people in your community, the businesses in your community. Absolutely. If you've got the opportunity, do it. But when it comes to just being dyed in the wool, you have to do this. It's a guilt thing. Don't. Go with the people that you've come to know and respect. Try something new. Do that. But make sure that they're earning it. Now, of course, the playing field for folks is tough now because, again, you can buy pretty much everything online. And, of course, the Walmart doesn't really carry everything anymore. Doesn't seem that way. So shop around. Put your money in the things that you're like, okay, cool, you did me good. I'm trading you this for that, and that works out, right? Um, and again, it's like the guilt that comes in campaigns because it's all propaganda, all of it. Okay, propaganda is a word that is in its initial onset of coming into the lexicon of the English language wasn't negative. Propaganda simply was basically a word used for advertising, marketing, and promotion of things before there was really an advertising, marketing, and promotion of things. And so it was a neutral term. It was a neutral term. But as it was used in times of war, it picked up a negative connotation. And so when you hear the word, and which is it's societally accepted, so there's no taking that word back, ain't gonna happen. But propaganda, on the whole, it hits you every moment of every day and everything you do. And it's meant to persuade you one way or the other, right? And that's what I do. I mean, I am using my own forms of propaganda to get you to take a look at my book and consider purchasing it because it's a perspective that I'm sharing with you, a book. Okay. And in everything, right? But are you going to use the tool as a tool for good, or are you going to use it as a tool as a weapon? And there's so many weaponized propaganda campaigns that you see online now that just kill me. And I ain't talking about politics. That's its own ugly monster. But I hope you're getting desensitized to the nonsense of it all. But more importantly, be careful because you're going to see more and more offers out there that just, if they look too good to be true, they most certainly are. Period. End of statement. So be careful with that. I'm going to close out one thing that I haven't said this. I have not really touched on this perspective since I started this. I'm on episode 26. Can you believe it? We're 2 days away from an officially psychologically locked habit. 28 days. 28 episodes. And we're on day 26. It's pretty cool. And I've enjoyed having coffee with you. And I hope you enjoy having coffee with me. But I haven't really gotten back into spreading what I found to be a solid perspective and philosophy and becoming a better you in general. That uh, when it hit me at first, as far as that whatever that voice is from out here, not already baked in here, about embracing your spark. Because I firmly believe, and I'm 100% nobody, you're never going to change my mind on this, that every single human being with a soul on this planet has a spark inside of them that very well may be quietened down due to the demands of this life. And as such, it's like, okay, well, you got to fix that because that's you. That's the real you that doesn't identify with a particular label. That we do have to pick up labels, man. I mean, we have to have certain things so we can communicate. It's part of language, but it's not something that needs to hide the real you. The real you meaning by spark. I'll spell it out very, 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 very clearly here. I believe firmly that the spark inside of us is a shard from the great divine that created everything. I'll leave it to you to make your own choice on what that means to you. I'm not here to do that. But I do know that's fact. However you want to label it. But inside each one of us that makes us have an imagination and fully conscious and doing our things, that is a revelation. That's the revelation of the divine spark that's inside of you. How do you get back to that? Well, there's a 4-step process I see. Number one, you identify that spark. Now, how do you get there? Well, the best way that I found so far is to think about the thing that just comes so naturally to you. And it doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't matter. It's not just the artistic creative side of things because everything is artistic and creative on a certain level. I mean, I've seen welders who are so good at what they do and it's so natural for them that they have done some of the most beautiful, clean, functional, strong, sturdy welds that they're proud of. It's just that's part of who they are, right? So, but you identify that thing. And a good way to do it is just brainstorm on a piece of paper or just look around what you have and see what is the theme that I keep doing here that I always like to have and a must have. Makes me feel complete. Without it, I'm off. Connect with that. That's another reason why my book exists as it does, because it helps you look at that. beyond just toys. But once you identify it, and in this modern world where we're scattered all over the place and we're doing all these things and distracted constantly, noise, noise, noise. But once you identify it, pull it back in and nurture it. We'll go back to the welder analogy. You're a welder. Well, you know what? Weld. You're a writer. Write. You're a collector. Hunt. You're whatever. Do it. Even if you can only dedicate 5 minutes in your busy life today, give that 5 minutes to nurturing that spark again. And just like any other exercise, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And then it's going to go from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, 15. And you're going to find that time to truly nurture it. And then it's going to get to that point where it's going to bubble up to the point where it has no choice but to be applied in your life. And once you do, and you put it out there, whatever it is, again, don't let mere words that I say put it in a box, because that's a mistake. But once you take and you've nurtured that spark inside of you and you put it out there for the world to see, and that world can simply be just your wife in the house. You don't need mass appeal. You don't need to go viral with something. But you just apply it right there in your circle. And you're going to see the benefit of truly thriving in life. Now, what does that mean? That's different for everyone. Could thriving mean making more money? Yes. Could thriving mean better relationships? Yes. Can thriving mean creating music that you are like, wow, this is awesome, and then somebody hears it and goes, whoa, that was awesome. And then let the circle repeat. Because that spark inside of you that you identified, the one, I guarantee you, has like 1,000,000 spokes. And that's how you can live a life that is focused on achievement, growth, gratitude, thankfulness, connectedness to your other fellow human beings out there. And that's what we all need. This is also why I've never gotten into like a religious career, because man, I could go on and I could wind up actually converting someone into something that I don't want to do. That'd be terrible. But I like telling stories and creating things, and that's what I do. And I expressed it through the book, because that was a big thing, because I needed a start and a finish. I needed a start and a finish. It had been so long since I had a start and a finish, and a book was the thing that was on my bucket list, and I needed the one. There are more books coming, but I'm not going to rush them. But I am going to focus. We've got things that we're doing right now, Alicia and I, that needs the attention. You have to balance these things too. Don't be blind. Again, you've got passion and you've got business, and odds are they're not going to be the same thing, right? Now, one can turn into the other, one can fuel the other, and that's fine. But don't mistake. I made the mistake. I know what that looks like. And if you're following your passion and you think that's a business, you're probably wrong, because unless you look at your business as a business, but then fuel it with passion, yeah, that's great. That's the combination. But to try to do it the other way, if you've done it, prove it. I would love to see that. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying that's a whole different monkey. Anyway, it's 8:47. I've got things I got to do. I've had a wonderful Tuesday morning that's acted like a Monday morning, but we made it better. Now we're shifted back to Tuesday, right? The print worked. See, the website will work, and I'll get it updated. So when you do go to 72601life.com and you see Monday's headlines, know that it's the Tuesday trying to be Monday, and it's playing with you, and it's rude. But that's okay. We're going to do just fine. Let's wrap this thing up. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Enjoy your coffee, your tea, your milk, your sugar, whatever. Don't do sugar. Actually, sugar's bad for you. But we're going to have some fun, and we're going to get out of here. Have a great day, everybody. See you in the morning, 8 o'clock, if I don't see you out and about.